Hey guys, Cody with Anglers Covey here. I'm here with John, our Director of Services, and we're coming at you with this week's tips and tricks. And we thought it would be kind of fitting for this time of year to talk about the spawn and the reds, because we have a pretty important job to take care of, and that's noticing that we have reds out there and how to properly handle that, whether it's we're talking about fishing the fish nearby or walking around them. So John, you want to dive in and maybe just a quick introduction about what a red is and how do we recognize it on the river?
This seems to be something that we need to talk about every spring and fall. So every spring, all the rainbow trout, the cutthroat trout, and the cut bow trout move into the rivers to spawn, and they spawn in the lakes as well. But that's the time of year when those fish spawn. There's some places on the South Platte River, namely the Dream Stream, that are kind of known for this. And as this gets going and social media starts to blow everything up, we start to see some really unethical stuff happening up on the river. A red is a spawning bed, and that's a place where the trout move on to actually lay their eggs, and the males will come in and fertilize the eggs, and that's the future of our fishery. So they're very distinct spots in the river. It almost looks like someone took a vacuum cleaner and cleaned off an oval shape of the river and took all the substrate out. So they almost glow. You can see them.
They stick out.
Yeah, they're it's not hard to recognize. And sometimes you'll see a lot of them together, so it'll just be a really big spot with all the substrate cleared off. And sometimes you'll see a fish on it, multiple fish, paired up fish, whatever on those. And what those fish are doing, they're actually trying to spawn, and the worst thing that we could ever do is disturb that, either by fishing to them or walking through there, anything. We just want to leave them alone. Those fish aren't eating, they don't care about you. Those reds are usually in about 1 foot to 3 feet of water, and there's a reason when you're standing 2 feet away from the fish that it's not leaving, because it is spawning. It doesn't mean fish to me. It's likely the fish isn't eating. So there's a really easy way to actually handle this. Those fish that are posted up on the reds, you want to let those fish be, let them spawn. You can go downriver or upriver to the next deepest hole, and you're probably going to find feeding fish. Feeding fish are very distinct as well. They're usually moving around in the water column and eating emergers, actively feeding, and those are the fish that you would want to target. So I mean, it's really easy to do. It's really easy to do right, I should say, and let those spawning fish do their thing. And it gets to the point where we get in this time of the spring, and every angler I know, every guide I know, is about sick of seeing batches of eggs all over the banks, up and down the river. I mean, it's just, that's the future of our fishery, and us as anglers, you and I, have a responsibility to take care of that. And I want that fishery to be just as good when my kids want to fish it.
Exactly. And there's ways to combat that. So, like John said, in the spring we get the rainbows and the cutthroats that spawn. Same thing in the fall. We get the browns that do it, even the kokanee. And it's not just the Dream Stream. It's every river that has trout in it. So the Dream Stream, 11 Mile Canyon, Deckers, Cheeseman, all these trout are going to be spawning, making reds. So, don't target those fish that are on the reds. Let's let them spawn so they can make those future generations. Like John said, we can still target some of these bigger fish, but let's target them when they're in the deeper pools or runs, when they're actually feeding. So
it's an Instagram hero shot isn't worth destroying a fishery. It's just not. So.
Cool. Thanks, John. All right, guys, there it is. Just some do's and don'ts when it comes to the spawning time and reds on the river. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them at the bottom, or give us a call here at the shop. We're happy to address those for you. So and if you see us on the river, any of our guides, they'd be happy if you're a little foggy on what this all means. We are always happy to help anybody out. So if you see us on the river, definitely come up, and we're going to take the time to help you out there. For sure. Awesome. All right, thanks guys. Until next time, tight lines.
You got this shit knocking though.